What's up, everybody? This is Alex with Showdown Flow, and we are going to finally sort of not necessarily put to rest, because there's plenty of gloves out there that I don't haven't tried, may never get to try and everything, but I've got now a plethora of gloves that I had done another video and I hadn't gotten all of them. And so now this is an opportunity for me to finally try everything that I've gotten, that I've bought, that I've been able to use, and at least give my personal opinion, which I don't know how much that matters, but it's my personal opinion with my limited experience in keeping of the gloves that I got in comparison to the gloves that I consider are the best that I've used up to this point. So I'm going to start with those. The first pair are the Sells Black Devils. These, first off, got those customized back in the day. These are the gloves that I used in indoor, which is kind of my forte. Same with Sala. So anything with a smaller goal, more leg save action, it's kind of hit me over the years that was probably my forte to begin with. Anyways, these are not available anymore. Sells, I want to say, I think only does like one model now, and it's really expensive from what I've seen. But back in the day, these actually were not very expensive. Some of the other models that I bought were way more expensive, but including the Aquas, which is kind of the model they still try to push. But yeah, these were the like training model, but you were still able to, let me fix that a little bit, customize them. These were the first time I ever used roll finger. So if you don't know, if anyone that's watching this, I'll give that lesson as well. Roll finger, as you can see, the latex on the finger rolls all the way from one edge, so the stitching is here, rolls over, and then it stitches on the other side. Sorry, I used the middle finger. It's the biggest finger. A lot of Premier League keepers and just keepers in general that play in wet environments will tend to use these. So you'll see that. Another one that now I've started to realize based on my girth extension is if you have bigger, thicker fingers and thicker hands, then the roll fingers are going to be pretty awesome. But there's a lot of benefits when it comes to the roll finger because you have so much more latex. But if your fingers are really thin, you'll get a lot of glove twists, which is not what you're looking for when it comes to a glove. If you have thinner hands, and you'll see in a bit, because quite a bit of these gloves are like that, you're going to want a negative cut. It's going to make your life a whole lot better. But these particular gloves, I actually wore in my best season in indoor. I think I ended up leading the league in the least amount of goals given up, and I think I might have led the league in saves. So these are really special to me. I love the grip. Obviously, there's some wear and tear up on there. If that was on indoor synthetic, so that kind of thing will happen. But not. I mean, if you look at these as far as like a glove quality standpoint, these don't feel great. These feel like practice gloves. They probably are practice gloves, but I have so much success in a short amount of time with these ones that these ones are really special. But like I said, Sells, I think, is kind of going on the downside. I think there's only one model you can get nowadays, and they're really expensive. But Sells, if you want to check them out and see if maybe you can find some of their old stuff, it's SELLS, Sells. See, everything's going to be backwards on this. I apologize. Hopefully it's on the right side for you guys. The other like legacy gloves are these. Now, I picked these up at the Oakland flea market. which I missed that quite a fucking lot. I got these for $5. I actually was just supposed to pay $8. And normally I just pay whatever someone tells me at there. I'm just like, okay, whatever. But these things were so fucked up that I was like, okay, just like, come on, man, give me a break. They're all fucked up. Because that is primarily when I bought them. That's not from me. Since then, and that's how they look, I've used them. I used them actually in a couple of my YouTube videos. So if you're interested, check out some of my YouTube videos with the Besta 510, and you'll actually see these in action. But I've been using these all the way up until now. So I've probably been using these for about like 5 years. And honestly, I still want to use them in a lot of ways. I'm really upset the backside is starting to like flake pretty badly. But that latex wasn't designed to be pretty industrious, you know, compared to the front side. But I don't know if you can hear that. I mean, I just cleaned them probably for the first time in their lives. I actually bought some real glove cleaner. And these things feel so good. I almost want to reuse them again, but I have so many other gloves, and part of me is like, just let these things rest. I'm out of the Bay Area. I'm out of Fremont. These were kind of like the end of my Fremont gloves kind of thing. So I don't know. We'll see if I keep using them. They are finger savers. I repaired every one of the finger splices. They do not have finger splices in the thumbs, which I did not realize until just recently. That's now a thing. So there is no finger splices. But these are the Elite Lions by Elite, which I don't think you can get these Elite Lions, but I think you can get a version of them. But if you can get a hold of these ones are really cool because they're hybrid cut. So if you look, I'm so sorry. So I just showed you the roll cut. So as you can see, these are also roll cut and roll cut here. But these two are actually, there you go, a negative cut. So the two middle ones are negative cut, and then the thumb is a roll cut. So it allows you maximum grip on these, and then these two, with the negative cut, you have a bit more feel for the ball, and so it allows you to still be able to have a really good feel and control of the ball while still having the maximum grip. Beautiful gloves. Now, I want to make something also very clear. These are 9.5s. That's a pretty unique size. You don't normally get a chance to buy half sizes. I'm a half size. If you're one of those people that are like a half size, that fucking sucks, because it's so hard to find half sizes, but Sells did half sizes. This is a 9. This does not feel, I'm going to show you another pair of Elite gloves in a bit that are 10s that feel as tight, if not maybe tighter than these. And so just keep in mind, sometimes your gloves are able to be stretched out, just like a baseball glove, softball glove or anything. You have the opportunity to stretch it out quite a bit. I mean, it's part of it's latex and everything, but you do have the stitching. So it depends on the model. I have the finger savers in here. If I pull the finger savers out, these will actually fit even better. So that's a thing too. If you pull the finger savers out, it's gonna fit a bit better. You don't have the finger savers in it. But just keep in mind, and I'm gonna try to point them out, I'm normally a 9.5. I put on weight, so I'm probably more of a 10. And so I'll try to give you an idea, but just keep in mind I've got pretty thick hands. So when you try to order any of these gloves, if you order any of these gloves that are still available, your hand size is going to be a huge deal. Really keep that in mind. I know they give you measurements and everything like that. Just understand, if your hand's on the bigger side, you want to go on the bigger side. If your hand's on the thinner side, you might want to go on the thinner side. Otherwise, you're going to have a hand that's flopping all over the place. And I think I brought two different versions of the same glove. I bought a 10 and an 11. And the 11 is quite large, and you'll see how much of a difference there is with that. But these are 9s on the Elite lines. And like I said, these two are probably my all-time favorites. They sit on my wall of fame. Now, first off, I'm going to do these because these hurt the worst to put on. So I had bought a bunch of used gloves from a gentleman that unfortunately got hurt and is unable to play. And so he was selling 4 pairs of his gloves for $40. So these were 10 apiece. Unfortunately, 1 pair of the 4 pairs I can actually wear properly. These are the ones that I literally, like, I can put my hand in there. It's gonna take a minute. But I can barely get the strap around my wrist. And you can say, well, then just don't use the wrist strap, which you're completely correct. I can literally just sit there and just wear these. And I'm golden. Now, these are the Storelli Threats. Threats, right? Yeah, the Storelli Threats. And these are actually designed, they come with finger savers, but they're not designed to ever be used. They're designed to, you buy these so that you do not have to use them. You could, if you need to, slide a finger saver in a slot if like you have a finger issue, but the design of this glove is you have thin fingers and everything like that. Listen, I have no issue right now. Like it's tight, but it's form-fitting. I can't, like, right now, if I just try to light strap it, I'm that far away from strapping it. Now, if I fully strap it, which I don't like that feeling, because now I have no feeling in my damn wrist, I'm having issues. The grip on this is incredible. It feels so good. Even, used in the spots here, feels great. The glove itself feels good. I can see there's some issues going on here. So I don't know if that's, again, I don't think I've ever used these. I actually don't think I've ever actually went out on the field and used them. There's a really cool little like rubber. This is like full rubber punching zone. But I don't think I've ever used these. So I don't know how well the latex lasts. But the latex feels really good. But these things are designed specifically for people with really thin hands. So if you're interested in the Storelli, because there's going to be some other ones coming up, but the Storelli Threat, you're going to want to go, these are 9s, I'm a 10. I wish I could tell you how the 10 felt. Honestly, if you're a skinny person, if you're a normal sized soccer player and not someone like me, a 10 is probably the next step you want to go, or you just want to go one step. I'd probably be better off with an 11, honestly, when it comes to these. But I am not shitting on the grip. The grip feels amazing. That punching zone feels amazing. The quality of this feels amazing. They're just too damn small. Okay? So that's the Storelli Threat. Let's try to stick with the rest of those ones. So then we'll go to these, which are unfortunately probably my most disappointing gloves. Beautiful, great grip. There's another one. But they're a fucking nightmare to put on, take off, and they have a very, very poor Velcro structure. So, let me put the left one on. So these are the lower model to these. So the Threats are the middle model. There's a top model, I can't think of the name of it, but there's a top model to it that's like $120. These are normally like 80 something bucks. And then these incredibly are the slides. These are 50 something bucks. These are considered training gloves. These are really nice for training gloves. These are negative cut. So, sorry, I should have mentioned that. These are for the most part negative cut. So negative cut means that the stitching on the inside is on the inside. So you're taking two pieces, pinching it together, and then sewing that pinch. And I'll show you a pair of flat gloves because I got a couple. But this is really common for people with thinner fingers, smaller hands. Gives a more structural feeling to it. But these are supposed to be practice gloves, practice quality and everything. The latex on this is superb. My only issue is, and I'm not going to put the other one on. I don't want to trash it. You see the Velcro right here? When you go and slide your finger underneath, because this stuff is the most eyewash thing ever. It's too far to the side, so when you try to pull something on, it shifts all over the place. So it's just easier to slide your thumb underneath and then pull, and that little piece shreds your pointer finger. And so that's where a lot of the early damage on that comes from. Storelli makes the next glove I'm going to show you. They did a great job of fixing that problem, but unfortunately that's what you deal with here. And the neoprene style, I don't know, again, if you have a bigger, thicker hand like me, it's really hard to get into it. Your finger saver port is right there. So I don't have the finger savers in these. It's doable, but pretty uncomfortable to have finger savers in these. These are 10s, and they're pretty tight. The other ones I'm going to show you in a minute are 10s, and I do use the finger savers. But with these ones, I decided not to use them. So just keep that in mind as well. The Storellis, some Storellis are pretty tight, some of them aren't. But honestly, they're fucking awesome gloves. They're just a pain in the ass to put on. And I'm an old school keeper. I like the old school. You'll see in some of these ones that are coming up, I kind of like the way those are more than these more fitted ones. Once you get them on, they feel good. They feel like an extension of your hand. I just don't like the process of getting through that one. So if you're into that, if you're okay with that, and you're looking for a pretty good, I think this is a good game glove. For 50 bucks, these are awesome. So check these out. Storelli slides. These are pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Next, let's go the other Storellis, which are way over there. Okay. These actually are supposed to be part of my game glove, one of my set of game gloves, depending on which jersey I use, because I can wear long sleeve with these ones. The other ones I want to wear, I can't get them on my long sleeve. But these are the electrics. So these are also not, I wouldn't say they're like ultra high quality pro gloves, but they're pretty close. But what's cool about these is this. You can pop open the cuff, close it, and then actually this is, you could go off cuff if you want to, or you can pop the cuff on because there's a little strap, and there you go. Now I have a strap on it. I have the finger saves in here. These are also negative cut, as you see. They definitely fit like I said, a 10 even in a negative cut fits just fine, even with finger saves. Although the thumb, I've never used a thumb finger saver before, so that's really unique and new to like modern finger savers. But the strap system is really cool because I don't like that extreme compression sort of thing. So again, you can just unwrap that and just keep the initial Velcro that you do. Grip is great on this. And then the punching system has these rubber things, so it's supposed to help with like when the ball hits it, there's spring action. Never had a chance to really properly use it, but it's there. But in my opinion, I like these a lot better. These are electrics. And again, you can choose to have or not have the strap. You can keep it strapless if you want. These, again, are about, I don't think I paid $80. I think I paid less than that, but they're around 80-ish bucks or so. I know that their goalie jersey is really, really popular. So that's the Scarelli Electrics. Now, most of these ones now are not new. Oh, there's a couple of newer ones. Oh, so we'll do the... These are honestly some of my favorite gloves that I've been able to pick up. These are the West Coast goalkeeping gloves. West Coast is based out of Seattle. And Matt, I think his name is Matt Turner. But Matt Turner, the American national team goalkeeper, uses these. At least as of right now. I don't know if that's changed. But a really interesting system. So you can see that there's a zipper here, which allows you to take the finger savers out. As someone with big hands, I really appreciate this roll finger system. These are really easy to get into. They're actually a little bit on the big side. You can see on my pinky kind of doesn't fully react, but I'm not too worried about that. But this crazy strap system is nuts. I love that. Not too sure about the look of it, this paint splatter thing. I would like if there was more colors personally. Whoops. Oh, we went way too close to this wrist. There we go. But yeah, so that's how these look. The thing about West Coast is every single glove that they make is a pro glove. That's like their main motto. Every glove is a pro glove. Hopefully you can see that. So basically, other than maybe some customized name thing, if you ran on the field and stole Matt Turner or any of these people's gloves, it would be the glove they were using. Not that Matt Turner uses this particular model, but because there's other models. But basically, they don't make knockoffs or cheap training gloves. Every glove you can find on their website is a pro glove, and they're all really affordable. I think most of them are in the $50 to maybe $70 range. Still a bit pricey, but if you know the price of gloves, that's pretty awesome. The fact that you have finger savers, even in the thumb, so it's modernized. I like the way these feel. These are probably the most comfortable gloves I have. But this is the particular model that I have. But I would check them out. I think they're pretty cool. And they have a good possibility of maybe, challenging for the cells. Because like I said, the cells, the first two gloves I showed you are probably my favorite gloves of all time. And the cells in particular, just because of what I was able to do with them, I would go into league with those West Coast ones. Let's do these, because these are going to be a pain in the butt to put on. Most expensive gloves I own. These are the Reusch Blueprint Gold Pure Contacts. These things, it's so weird. These things are probably they're probably the stickiest things I own. But as soon as you get a little bit of moisture, these things suck. But they're completely laceless, and they are a fucking nightmare to put on. But there you go. They're very, if you're really into the bare hand feel of just not having a bulky glove. I come from a generation where the bulky glove was a thing, so I kind of like that. But if you're into the more modern streamline, like that's bare hand and that's the Reusch. Yeah, it's pretty streamlined. It's pretty grippy. Again, it doesn't do well with wet weather. But it dries out. I mean, you can sit there and pat yourself, and then it's like, oh, okay, now it's grippy again. Not a whole lot else going on to it. It's kind of like having a garden glove with goalkeeper gripping. You know what I mean? I've always appreciated Reusch. Reusch used to make some great gloves back in the day. Not really all that impressed with this. It looks super futuristic. Like this looks like the glove of the future, but I don't know. I'm not too sure of this. This is also a size 9, by the way. The West Coast are 10, if I didn't mention that. These are 9s. Now my hands are really sticky. Probably my most disappointing gloves. I play slow pitch softball, or I used to. I don't play at the current moment. I'm hoping to play again. But I have purchased a pair of batting gloves from a brand called Warstick. And Warstick was selling all their batting gloves for $50 a piece. One pair of gloves was definitely worth $50 for a pair of gloves, but they were too small. And so I ended up reselling them, thankfully, for the same amount, recouped everything. The other ones are supposed to be the light model. And they were basically a thin leather pair of like work gloves. And I mean thin. They were cheap. I still have them to this day somewhere around here. But they were cheap. They were not worth $50. They were like $20 gloves. Probably $10 gloves, you know. I bought a pair of Renat, which we're going to start doing some Renat gloves. I love Renat. They're an amazing company out of Mexico. I bought what I thought were going to be some cool training gloves on hard ground, like during the summertime out here where it gets really dry. These are the Meta Tactic Firm Ground. And this is literally it. It's a neoprene back. I mean, like, look at that. With the palm. Now, are they gloves? Yeah. Do they stop balls? They do. If there's any sort of moisture on this, and I want to tell you right now, I've felt grips over my life. This would survive turf, which is what these are really designed for, to be honest, is a surface where it's never going to be wet. These would survive that. Another pair of gloves that I'll show you are the same way. But as soon as there's any smidget of moisture, these are fucking terrible. They are so... I'd be better off using my bare hand, honestly. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the... Indoor. Honestly, I think these would be great for indoor. Honestly, I think these would be great for sala. If you want to be that kind of person that wears full gloves, I don't think I would use them for anything else. They don't work. As soon as you get moisture, it's not good. So that's the Renat Metatactic. I have these bad boys, which I'm not really sure you can get a hold of these anymore. I might have done a review on them in the past, but these are the Cancerbero Quantum Renats. As you can tell, that these are going to be different from all the other ones I showed. They don't have the one, so these are a little bit old school-ish. I bought these at the Oakland Flea Market. Beautiful gloves. They got the German latex. So these are not cheap. They were not cheap in their day and everything like that. These are 9s. Incredible. These are 9s. Easy to put on because they are flat palm. So that's what a flat palm looks like. So instead of the negative cut where this seam, that seam would be inward, it's on the outside. So it makes it easier for people with bigger hands to be able to get their hands in it. The thing is, because this is a 9 and this thing doesn't stretch all that much, it's hard to get the strap on. I can just get enough of it. But I've used these a few times before I left my old hometown. So I have a little bit of a connection to these ones, but these are a bit old school, and again, I'm not really sure you can find these ones unless you go on eBay. These are actually brand new. These are like some of the cheapest, most epic gloves I've ever seen. So these are the, what are they called? They call these the Meta GK Spines. So these are spine implemented gloves, and these are 10s. And I had an easier time putting those ones on. These have spines in everything, including the thumb, flat palm, and they're so cheap. They're so cheap. I feel like if I did one session on turf with my old buddy, the best of 510, I would have trashed these. And part of me doesn't want to like fuck them up because they'll never be like this again. Plus, they're not the grippiest things in the world. Like, they're almost show gloves in a way. Like, everything about them feels cheap. And look how tiny they look. Like, they don't look like 10s. It's so weird. But, you know, to be fair, when you get your hands in there and everything's good to go, they feel pretty comfortable. I mean, the grip feels all right. Like, if you're... I would say if you're trying to get into an adult league as a keeper, you know, nothing too crazy. You're kind of just doing your own thing. The league's doing its own thing. People aren't trying to go around, you know, massacring people. And you're just having a good time, you know, like a beer league-ish co-ed adult league. These are probably pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably what I would use too. And unfortunately, I had an opportunity to do that. But, you know, that's where I would put these ones. These might be my favorite Renats. No. These are the Igitico Turf model. And honestly, I want to use these if we ever play indoor. So I'm kind of keeping these on the back burner. So these are... same thing, German latex. It's hard to tell. It's German latex. Key thing is the thumbs, which are really similar to the freaking Adidas Predators that I think I donated. But these are proper professional latex on the white parts. The black part of the palm is actually a special type of hard ground latex, which is really durable, which is good when you're playing indoors. I honestly think I want to keep these as my, maybe someday if I'm still around here, indoor gloves, or still around, period, indoor gloves. But I don't know, there's something really cool about the way these look. So, but these are 10s. So we're gonna share those. These, I'm not gonna put these on because it's a pain in the ass, but these are the GK Saver. I can't remember the model, but these ones had like a beautiful long wrist strap, but these are such a fucking nightmare to put my hands in, and they're 9s. These are also GK Savers, and these, I actually took the wrist strap thing off, but these, because they're that neoprene wrist as opposed to this weird sewn thing they did, these are much easier to get on, and so I just added the wrist strap of the other one on top of it. Kind of see where I stitched it. It's pretty awful. Finger Savers, it has the rubber grips on those ones. This is a Manchester, England company that makes these ones. I'm kind of fighting my own mentality about if I want to do the miters or if I do these ones, because the miters don't have any damage, and it's just there's something about the old schoolness in them, which you'll see, which I don't know, special to me. But these ones, yeah, at this point, I don't want to like toss them. It's just I don't have a means of wearing these. It's such a pain in the ass to put them on. These ones, I'm not even going to try to put these ones on because they're a fucking nightmare. These are the Atlas gloves, and I'm so sad I can't fit these. This one in particular is the left one. This is a pain in the ass to put on. I actually cut the seams on the right one just to get my hand in them, but really weird kind of like thick to thin design. Like it's designed for, I think it's designed for a really specific hand. They're really cool looking. I love the little rocket, but yeah, for the most, and the grip feels fantastic. This grip feels really good. They're just not easy gloves to put on. So that's that on that front. And I think I'm down to my last 3. We got the Elite. So I showed you my first pair of gloves. One of the first pair of gloves, the Elite lines, were my all-time favorites. These are the Elite Orcs. And I'll be honest, these don't feel, even at 10s, being a little bit larger size, these actually feel just a little bit cheaper than the Elite Lions. So I almost wish the Elite Lions were a little bit better than I would just use these as practice gloves. Other than that, they feel great. It is a different cut. These are actually the roll finger cut, where those is the hybrid. These are just straight roll finger cuts. Bit of damage already though, up in there. But they do still feel good. I would personally wear these if I had the right jersey, which I do, I just don't fit. In my OG jersey, the Holland jersey that I used to wear, which don't fit, probably never going to fit. Or if I did something like Halloweenish. But yeah, Elite gloves have always been really good to me. And possibly, other than the Storellis, possibly my game gloves, and I did not think this considering the price, but these gloves are unreal. These are Voisin, and they come with a strap that you can strap around. Don't fit. Excuse me. God, I need to get that out. It literally will not make it around my wrist. It does come with a keychain, which I have in my room. But these are pretty awesome. I mean, it may or may not be hard to tell, but these have some serious thickness. There are finger savers in them, in all of them. The latex is super thick. I mean, everything about this feels awesome. I'm always a fan of the dark palm. I wish they were all dark. That would have been like the saving grace of everything. But I don't know. These things are really awesome. I love the way they feel. I used them once, made a couple saves, felt really good with them. So those might end up being my like this jersey. I might use these ones because I think I'm gonna go with my long sleeve with the Storellis because I can pop the strap open and slide them over the sleeve. But those are the Voisins, and then lastly is these crazy bad boys. These are the miters, which might end up being my gloves I use if I coach. These are 10 something on eBay, like 12 bucks. I mean, they have slots for breathability. It's so trippy. That's your punching zone. It feels like a prototype glove that someone was just like, well, let's just throw it out there and see what happens. There's so much technology, but you can see all the technology. I really like it, but I just love how light the glove is. I used it in one practice and it was awesome. The grip on this feels really, actually, way better than it should be. But this is the 10 model, and you can see how the pinky slides that way. I have an 11. This is what I originally bought. It comes in this thing. These are 2012, by the way, models. So these are over freaking 10 years old. But this is what an 11 would look like, if anyone's curious. This was my original model. So then when I squeeze, you can see that's way over there, and then that one's way over there. So, could I do a 9? I might be able to do a 9. I mean, my issue is getting the hand past this part into the wrist part. Once it's in there, I'm definitely still a 9 by like fingers, but my hand is just set up so that it's a freaking nightmare to get anything else, get the main part into it. So just keep that in mind. The way your hand is shaped is how you're gonna have to go about things. And all these gloves have a kind of a unique wrist shape to them, which is tough because in the grand scheme of things, you want to go roll finger for your pardon me 1 second, be right back. Sorry. Yeah, you want to make sure that you just understand the dynamics of your hand. Certain gloves are going to fit a certain way. This newer latex is really hard to get your hands in compared to like the older, like this kind of older material. Usually is a little bit easier, but ones that have this kind of stitching can be a problem, hence why I had an issue with these, which has that kind of old school stitching, and these ones are the more newer neoprene stitching. So I mean, it just, for me, it's better for you to test your gloves out in person if you can, because if you try to buy them online, you're gonna run it. For the most part, these didn't fit. These didn't fit. These didn't fit. But everything else did. And I bought, I don't know, like 16 pairs of gloves. Probably 16 pairs of gloves. That's pretty, oh my goodness, you want to go on YouTube? Hi, get out of the chips. You're taking a huge risk. If you try to buy online, So I'm not sitting there trying to push you to buy anything one of these things online, but I kind of highly recommend these if you're looking for something stupidly cheap that can. It just depends on your. It depends on your competitive league, your skill set, and everything like that. Honestly, out of everything I bought, these might be the fucking best gloves that I got. Like, I don't know. There's just something about these ones, and again, I'm. These are the kind of gloves I grew up on. I don't know. There's just something wholly awesome about these. And then the Voisins, you can get these things brand new for like $36. At least as of right now. I think they're Chinese made, so tariffs, the tariffs, you better watch out for those ones. And get out of the tortilla chips. You might want to hurry, but for what you get on these, I think these are amazing. If you're looking for a really bulky, safe glove, but if you're looking for something thin, easy, summer ready, I live in the valley, it's hot out here. These things are really awesome. I always will recommend Elites. Elites are amazing. Royce, I think, is a racket. I think those are too expensive. If you're playing high level, I think these are really cool. The Storelli Electrics. I think those are a good buy. Or if you can get your hand on some of these as a roll finger, if you have a bigger hand, I think these would be pretty good. So, anyways, that's kind of all I got as far as like the buku beatdown of stuff. Like I said, I only got to use it a little bit. I never got to use it in a game. I'm hoping one day I freaking get to rock this and maybe play some indoor and get to use some of them. But in any case, if any of this helped you out, let me know. Or if you have any other questions, I can try to answer as much as I can on what I've got. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, keep it smooth, keep it flow. Go ahead. No, good. And see y'all soon. Until then, bye.